I wonder if Aaron's still over Zoom. Hey, there he is.
There he is.
All right. We're starting the meeting for the Bedford Township Park Commission, February 8th, 7 o'clock, via Microsoft Teams. We will call to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag,
United States of America,
To the republic stands
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all.
All right. Sure.
Yes, it's Nancy Crandall.
Nancy? Well, there we go.
I'm sorry. I couldn't get in on it any other way. Sorry.
All right, approval of the agenda. Before we approve the agenda, I have a couple additions to make. And I think we should probably squeeze them in there between Saturdays in the parks and before we start on each individual park. So instead of D being Anstead, we'll do partnerships with the Bedford Green Initiative. That'll be D. E will be park signage. F will be seasonal wages / maintenance budget request. G will be spring newsletter. And then H will be Anstead, and we'll go on from there with each park.
Carol, does that include Paul's seasonal wages? Is that what that one was?
Yes.
Or
Seasonal
was that something
wages.
else, Aaron, that you were proposing that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah. So that'll be
Aaron.
Aaron, you're muted.
You there? Nope.
Nah, he's still muted.
No, not.
Unmute. Hey, can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you.
Okay.
Hey,
Learning.
Aaron, did you put? You had seasonal wages? Is that the same as what Paul wanted to talk about, or is that something else that you had?
The thing that I sent to Carol to be on the agenda, you mean?
Yeah.
Different than seasonal wages. Yeah.
Okay, so Carol, we just need to make sure
different.
that Aaron's thing and seasonal wages, there's two different line
Okay.
items for that.
What's your thing, Aaron?
Well, did it? I don't know that I'm getting the email of these minutes or the agenda because I do not see it. But you said it, and I got it implanted in my head, so we're good there. But in general, it was the whole employee internships thing, part-time employees internship thing. I don't know if that made the cut or not. We can always do it next time, I suppose.
No, let's put it in there. We'll put it in there.
All right, motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay.
Maybe I got
Agenda
it.
approved. Now we've got to approve the minutes. Aaron, did you get my suggestion to change something on the minutes? That email.
Probably not, but I'll find it while we're talking here.
That's okay. I'll just tell you. Basically,
Okay.
It was the part of the minutes where we were talking about digitizing the schedules.
Okay.
You had made a motion, and then we withdrew the motion so that we could have more discussion. And because we've sort of tabled it for one meeting, we've got to bring it up again at this meeting. So I just wanted to put in the notes of the meeting that last time it was brought up for a vote and then withdrawn, and then we will bring it up again at this meeting.
Got it.
Okay? All right.
Okay.
There you go. Okay, and the same thing with that. You can do an amended park board meeting with that. You just take the minutes, you amend that, you add that little bit that I just mentioned, and then you're able to send that in with the dates and just make sure it says amended on it so they know it's the amended version. So we need a motion to accept the minutes with the amendment.
Motion to accept the minutes.
And a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Opposed? Anybody? No? Okay. All right, so we'll move on with that. Secretary's report.
Nothing to report. Is there something I should be reporting in these reports? I mean, other than correspondence that I'm not aware of, we got any. I didn't get any particularly. I don't know if anybody got some they didn't send to me. But
Basically, that's it. If you get anything, yeah, that's,
yeah, I mean, I had my own little meetings that I'll report on as we go through, but nothing on a
Right.
secretary level.
right.
So, yep.
Yeah, a lot of times the secretary doesn't have anything to report. The whole time I was secretary, I think I reported once on something.
Okay, good. Good to know. Good.
So, yeah.
Okay.
All right, moving on. Moving on to the treasurer's report.
Okay, treasurer's report. I sent you all of them. There was, stand by because I don't have a printed copy. I gotta bring this up here. The updated one, South County Water. Okay, car park. Andrew, can you please, if you haven't, and I assume you saw that email from Al, can you please fill out a work order requesting them to get that thermostat changed? We're paying way too much in gas, just because of a busted thermostat for nobody to be using that building.
Copy.
And his email was point on. We got to get somebody in. He wants a work order. I get it. Not on the maintenance list. Okay. Two other things. We had turf lawn weed control for Anstead Park from August that we needed to approve. Obviously, that was well before us. Carol, do you want to tell me that this was done so we can sign off on this?
Yes, that was finished. And that
Okay.
was for Anstead, right? Yeah.
That was for, yes, Anstead
Okay.
for $195. So not a big deal.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. And then Aaron, you went by Parmalee and you said it looked like the gate was fixed from Bedford in August. Bedford
Yes.
Fence in August.
Yes. I mean, there's no way that it's been that, I mean, certainly it must have been. So yes.
Okay. These
Couldn't
both
imagine what
needed
else they could have fixed. Yeah.
These both needed approved. I will sign and approve these. Okay. A couple more quick things. Just one main one here. I'm going to hold this up and hopefully you all can see this. I'm going to try to hold it up so you can see it.
Ooh.
This is a
Back
check
it up a little
request.
bit, Kaz.
Oh, okay. Back it up. I was moving it closer
Back
so
it
you
up.
can read.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
see
it's too, all we're getting is lines. We can't see anything.
Okay, anyway, it's a Bedford Township check request. Basically, if you guys need reimbursed for anything, I went into the hall earlier last week, and they gave me a big packet of these things. They said that all you have to do is if you email me, I fill them out, I turn them in, I approve them, turn them in, and then you get paid back for them. So if you
Okay.
spend any money at the hall, at any of the parks, just email me and I'll fill these out. Basically, I'll know who it's to. I just need to know what it was for and probably a copy of the receipt. And I can get you guys all paid back.
Thanks.
Okay.
Great.
So, yeah. And then that's really it. Unless you want to get into budget stuff, but I think that's another line item. So that's it for the treasurer's report.
Well, let's add those two items that I mentioned for spring.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
One for, let's see, this is for Anstead.
Well, Carol,
Yeah.
you want to do the motion with the amendment to do that then?
Yes, but I think we need to mention the amounts so they know for sure.
Mhm.
It's amount for $1,050 for poison ivy, black locust spraying, and it's another amount for $351 for purple loosestrife and phragmites and poison ivy also on that one. And they're both
And
to be
those are-
done in spring.
Those are both at Anstead.
One's at Wheeler and one's at Anstead. The Wheeler is the 1,050 and the Anstead is 351. So I make a motion that we accept the treasurer's report with these two added features, I guess you would say.
I'll second it.
All right, and because it's money, we've got to do an actual roll call. So, Chris?
Aye.
Okay, Andrew?
Aye.
Aaron?
Aye.
And Chaz?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Motion passed. All right. Now we have presentations. I thought 3B was going to come in and do a presentation, but I don't know if they're on here.
George, do you have anybody on the line? Tim, wasn't his name Tim, Carol?
I think it was Tim. Nope,
Yeah, Tim Hunter.
All right, well,
Okay, well, before we get too far away from that, do you want to talk about baseball and keep that going and maybe give him another minute? Are you
Sure.
guys all set at Parmalee and Samaria?
I made.
We're meeting with them Thursday, I believe. So.
Okay. As of this morning, they had not heard from you and they were waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Who's
I
that?
talked to them this morning.
Pete Zapata and John Johnson.
I texted John. He's in Louisiana for work.
Okay.
And he said, we could do everything remotely in a sense. And I was
Good.
just like, well,
Okay.
whenever he comes back, I kind of figured we'd get to it. It is February, but it sounds like also Pete can sign for John.
Yeah, I believe it's Pete's intention to sign for both
That's
of them.
that's what Pete had told me when I was on the phone with him earlier today.
Which frankly,
now the issue being is we don't have a blank contract. What the township gave me is already a contract that's already been written on and tasked me with putting it onto Word and then going in and erasing things out of it. Yes. So, and I don't have, I'm going to be honest, I'm not super tech savvy.
Yeah, Chris, you shouldn't do that. That's
no,
that's changing a legal document. You don't do that.
Yeah, so Pete and I had discussed, and we're gonna look at the old one and just write up something completely new for them that we can bring to and vote on. So that completely new. I mean, we're gonna base it off of the old one, but obviously change names, change dates, things like that. But yeah, that's
sounded like
that was
we
the issue
were
with that.
we were gonna meet. Chris, myself, and Pete were gonna meet. Actually, I have a Rocket Lawyer account, which I'm happy to make available. If
well,
we
the
wanted,
township has
well,
to do that. I mean, if anything, Chris, this can be as simple as taking the contract that they signed for Parmalee last year, or I'm sorry, that they signed for Samaria last year, and amending it, just putting Parmalee and Samaria on there, changing the date, and having him sign it. I mean, you can literally just scribble it out with your initials. It doesn't have to be anything that major. But I personally would not retype a contract because if you use a word, that's going to be on you.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Fair enough. Well, use what we got.
No.
I mean,
actually, if I miss a word, we all look at it, we all vote on it, and then it would be on all of us.
I can't believe that the township doesn't have that on file somewhere. That's kind of silly.
That's
imagine. Okay, I mean, we do have something. You sent me something. I printed it out.
Yeah.
So if it's
right, that's
not,
what I mean. How do they not have that?
Well, I'd be lying if I said I read through it all. I mean, I looked at it. I was like, good, there's a contract. Okay. I mean, we can rewrite it or we can just use that. I don't really care. I mean,
yeah.
But if we're not writing them ourselves.
You can use those contracts like Chaz mentioned. Just scribble out the date, scribble out whatever you need to, put in the new date, sign it, put the correct date on it, and yeah, you're good to go with that. I mean, it's unfortunate. We should be able to get a blank copy. You'd think the township would have one, but if they're not willing to dig through their files and find it, and I don't think I have anything available that has it on, but.
So what we will do on Thursday is do that and then make a memorandum of understanding.
Sure.
Whereupon those are great understandings that I think don't bind us to anything. So what do you think, Chris? We'll do one of those. I mean, we can just type that up, a memorandum of understanding. Yeah. Here's things we're all understanding, and the contract's the contract, and that way we can have our cake and eat it too, I think, with that one. And Pete's going to be our sign guy, our signature guy, on this for both parties, I think. Both parks. We'll let Pete be the guy who is the go-to, and then John can maybe go through Pete, since Pete's already done a great job and proved himself at Samaria. we can,
I don't know. Yeah, I completely agree. I don't know if this is something that we should bring Todd into. Todd, can you find out if there is some sort of boilerplate lease agreement for the township for something like that?
Yeah, I'll check with Paul.
Okay.
If you would, I mean, I can't believe that they don't have a Word document somewhere, because this has been changed last year. Last year, someone filled one out, so it's got to be on a file somewhere.
Somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, just for what it's worth, while we're talking about baseball, real quick, Bedford Select, who is taking care of Parmalee and is trying to release Parmalee and is taking care of Samaria. In conversations with them last week, John and Pete both graciously offered they're going to adopt half of the fields over at Indian Creek and not play there, not train there, not have anything to do with it, other than they're going to bring their equipment out in the spring and get them ready for the season. They're going to help us maintain them, supplying equipment and labor. The hope was that in talking to 3B tonight, I would be able to get them to adopt the other three. I told them we'd put a sign up on the fence that says this field is adopted by, this field is sponsored by 3B Baseball or Bedford Select, so they can get a little name recognition for their hard work and effort that they put in. And it helps the community ed that actually uses those fields, because maintenance is not able to keep up with them the way that they need to be. So maybe this extra push will help.
Okay.
Great.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
The other thing, whatever contract we used, we had kind of desired to do 3 years, or we had mentioned 2 years possibly, to then have all contracts come due at the same time.
I like 2 years, so they all come through at the same time. That makes the most sense to me.
Well, I think 3B is up in 2023, so that would be 2 years, right?
Right.
21, 22, and then the winter of 23.
Which we could always give we could always give Bedford Select 3 years and then tell 3B, to catch
give
up
them an
with a
additional
year.
year. Sure. Whatever you want to do. Chris,
Certainly,
Chris and
Bedford
Aaron, you
Select.
guys got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
talk to Aaron, whatever they agree to. Yeah.
you guys are cool with me and Chris figuring out 1, 2, or 3 and bringing it to the
Do
meeting next time, I guess.
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
Chris,
that
we got
sounds
it, right?
good. Sounds good.
Sounds good. I think we might be leaning 3, just so you know.
Cool.
Cool.
All right. Let's move on to community education. Nancy?
I don't have anything new to report this time.
This time? All right. Thanks, Nancy.
Hey, Nancy, before we get away from community ed,
Yes.
you sent out a letter maybe a month or so ago
Yes.
outlining your appreciation for our donations and everything like that. Can we get a little more of a breakdown of your cost structure? A little more detailed than what you actually sent us? I can go and just talk to Bob and get it direct from him if that'd be easier. But I figured maybe you'd want to...
Yeah, I can do that.
And just send it off to Chaz, or
We
I
just
guess
lose
you'll
Chaz.
work with it.
Yeah, sorry.
Yep. Okay.
You want?
There. All right.
Maybe you should go over there during the week, or how do we?
I was going to say probably email it to everybody, then we'd all have it.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that'd be the best
There you
move
go.
if we can get it. Nancy,
Okay.
if you can get that emailed to everyone, please.
I can do that.
All right. Thank you, Nancy. George, we're
No problem.
coming to the comments from the public, limited to 2 minutes. Anybody online? Sure. While we're waiting, let me mention to everybody, we all got an email, I believe, about the newsletter, the spring newsletter. I did the winter newsletter, and previous boards, everybody took a turn and went ahead and did a newsletter. It's up to you guys. I'm more than happy to continue doing that. But if you guys want to switch and take a crack, that'll work. You can bring it up after.
I'll take.
Yeah, I would
I'll
at
take
least
it
like
if nobody's
input.
got a. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Are they ready?
Yes, we are.
Okay, this is Gail Kane, 1056 West Temperance. Is there any chance, Miss Lori, that you could restate what your added agenda items are to your agenda? And will that be, if I FOIA that agenda, will those inserts be put in there properly?
They should be, probably not today, and maybe not
Okay.
even tomorrow, but yes, they should. If you go back in there, those agenda items will be, there'll be an amended agenda.
Okay, can you recite those again verbally? And I'm going to hang up so you can do that so I can write them down.
Okay, sure.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We did the partnership with the Bedford Green Initiative. That would be D. E is park signage. F is seasonal wages / maintenance budget request. G is spring newsletter. And H is employee internship. And then we go back to the regular agenda after that. No more calls. All right, we will continue on then at this point, going to old new business. The first one is digitized park shelter and community center registrations, LEO. We talked about that a little bit last time. And my understanding is when you bring something up for a vote, which we did, and then we pulled it back, you have to bring it up again at the next meeting. So that's what we're doing. We're bringing it up. And I checked with townships on that. And that's what their understanding is also. You've got to bring it up on the next meeting. So I basically am in favor of the community ad taking care of our shelters, registration for our shelters and our community rooms. We're already doing a bang-up job with registering teams and things at the various parks. They're all set up for that. It's a very easy, user-friendly interface. So I think everybody who wants to use that can. If they don't want to use it online, Community Ed is more than happy to have them come into their office, and they will do that for us at that point. So I don't know if somebody else wants to say what they have to say about it. What do they think? It's the time. Let's discuss it.
When was the last time any of you used that program to register anyone for Community Ed? Last time we did it, it was terrible. Yeah. Has anyone recently used the online program to register anyone for Community Ed?
I used it last fall.
Go ahead.
Can
I speak up a minute?
Yes.
This is a new system for us. We've only been using it for a year.
Oh, good.
So
okay.
if you used it before last January, okay. Yeah, we got rid of, you are thinking digital sign up there, we no longer work with them.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I'll kind of chime in my comments with, I was there for the demonstration when I think the three of us were there to go through it. From the look of it and everything they demonstrated, it looked like a great system. I know our biggest question was the whole managed facilities, and I think Chris had brought it up, having everything under Township Hall's address, so we only have one facility, and then just breaking out the buildings with each name for each park, instead of having each park a separate facility, which will bring our costs down to minimize that completely. So I don't know if that was solved or if we are able to do that, and if we are, I'm with Carol. I'm totally in favor of the LEO system.
Is this going to be active for the ball diamonds and the basketball courts and everything as well?
The ball diamonds are.
George, can you keep this to board members, please? Nancy, I don't think we need your input anymore. Thank you for your help.
Okay.
Can someone tell me whether we're using this for the ball diamonds and the tennis courts and the basketball courts and the pickleball courts, or whether we're just using this for the halls?
At this point, I would say just use it for the halls. I mean, if you want to do everything that way,
yeah,
we could easily do everything that way.
Yeah, we're talking about
when you basically do the setup.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead, Chaz.
No, I was just going to say,
I
we've
would say
already
from the
got
look
people.
of it, that would just
Yeah.
be as part of our setup. We would have everything on Township Hall, and within that
Okay.
list of items that they can select to rent, so the indoor
Sure.
shelters, the outdoor
Right,
shelters,
yeah.
add those into the list. I don't see why not.
Yeah, no,
If
I mean, if
want
we can
there-
do that, if we can do something like that, that'd be great. I mean, we already have people coming in asking when particular based off of the teams that are leasing them. So I think this just takes a lot of that headache and puts it all in
Yeah,
one
because
barrel.
once we have their season schedule, input that into those times and those dates
Yeah,
and block it
yeah.
out. And,
Yep. They get
and obviously,
priority.
when we do a fee, there's not a fee to rent those, or if there is, like obviously that's all part of the setup of it. But if we want those to be listed with it, it's just more items in our bank of list of what you can choose from to rent.
Yeah, Chris, I think the only thing is, I think we just need, like you were talking, $20 a month. I think I would feel more comfortable if we had something in writing, a cost on this. If there is an initial setup cost to design the website, to do whatever, what fees they're taking, and if we can truly get this done for $20 a month to cover all the diamonds, all the courts, all the halls, all the gazebos, everything, then I mean that's easy money for sure. But
I think
right now,
what we might want to do here is have a committee, one of us, somebody from community ed, somebody from the treasurer's office, get together and discuss this so we can get with the team, the LEO team, make sure it's only $20 a month that we'll be able to do this. I just think that's probably the best way to do it. But at this time, I think we should go ahead and make a motion.
Hold on.
on what?
Go ahead.
I'm fine. I'm not against it. Not 100% for it. Big thing is I don't want to be in any type of timed contract where we are stuck. I mean, if it's not, it will be a new system, and if it's working out, I want to be able to pull the plug on it. I don't want to continue on with something that's not working.
Andrew,
So
do you want to
do a 5 year? Is this gonna? Can we cancel
Andrew,
at any time?
do you want to be involved in this, or otherwise, Chris and I are going to meet with. We'll meet with the. I don't need to meet with community ed. We'll meet with someone from the financial office and someone from ELO and see what we can get organized.
Well, let's wait a minute. Let's let Todd have something to say here. Go ahead, Todd.
Yeah, at our last meeting, you guys wanted me to check with Paul and see if Paul would pay for this program.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What Paul told me is for you guys to put that in your budget. He will not start paying for it right now, but if you put it in your budget, it would be paid for that way.
So the cost of this program for us, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Okay. Andrew and Chris, do you guys want to take care of that, or do you want me to look at it for the financial aspect, or what do you guys want to do? Because it's you, Chris, and Carol seem like you guys are the.
I was there at the meeting. I know we've got that initial contract from them. I believe Nancy has the contact info. Chris, do you have whoever it was that sent this?
I have. Yeah, I emailed with her a couple of times. It's not really a contract. It's more of a price sheet. So it's not anything binding that they had sent.
No, that's fine.
Yeah,
Chris, if you have it. Chris, if
you
have it.
I have it. If you want to talk to them, Chaz, if you want to email with them, them on the price, Chaz, I'm not against that at all. I like I like Chris, your way with money. So
okay, Chris, Andrew, do you want to be involved with it, or can you not? So that it's just two of us, if you don't mind.
That's fine. No.
At this point, I think it should only be two of us because when you bring that third one in, then it has to be an open meeting.
Yeah,
Chris and I are going to meet. Chris and I are going to meet with them and go over the financials and get a hard quote, and hopefully we can have it by the next meeting so that we know all of our setup costs, all of our operating costs, and we can go from there. As long as that's okay with everybody.
I think we can do that after we make a motion, and the reason is March 1st is coming, and if we don't get this approved by the township before that, then we've got the whole problem with people coming in March 1st wanting to rent something, and we don't have anything in place.
Well, what do we need? What do we need approval from the township for?
anytime you do anything like this, they're going to want to approve it. You're going to send it into them and they're going to check it over and I think it's just a formality, but their next meeting is next week.
$20 a month. They're gonna look over $20 a month.
Well, but we don't know for sure that it's $20 a month.
Board approval is what 20,000. The board approval is 20,000. I thought.
Yeah. Hey, Carol, you were the one who arbitrarily put March 1st on it when you decided to close registration at the Township Hall. So unfortunately, you're going to have to wait.
It's not me. It's the township. They were the ones that couldn't do it. They were too busy to be able to take it, and they dropped it in our lap. So this is what we came up with. I personally think that if we make a motion tonight, that's probably the best way to handle it. But if you guys...
You make a motion if you want to.
Aren't on board with that, that's okay too. Okay, here's my motion.
Make a motion and let's keep moving.
All right. I make a motion that we partner with Community Ed and adopt the LEO program pursuant to two of us and somebody from Community Ed and somebody from the Treasurer's Department sitting down and make sure it's all going to work seamlessly.
I will second that motion.
All right. Let's go with a voice vote then. Chris?
This isn't just in conjunction for park shelter bookings.
No, this is for, if you want it for everything, it's for everything. But see, that's what the committee's for. The committee can come back and say, this is what we've come up with. And we're just making a ballpark decision that we're going to go with LEO.
So the motion is to use LEO in a broader sense, and then we can get in there and decide what we do and don't want to use LEO for ultimately.
Exactly.
Like it's just to be able to initiate a relationship with LEO.
Right.
The parameters of the relationship will be defined as we go.
And then we can come back and vote on that, next time. But I think to get the ball rolling, we need to make a motion tonight.
Carol, you're talking about getting the ball rolling so you can get it approved by council. However, what are they going to approve? That we're going to go and talk to them? They're not approving that we're signing a contract with them. We're not signing a contract with them. We don't have any dollar amounts. So, no, I mean, you can get this approved. There's no, okay, whatever.
We ultimately want people to be able to book shelters.
Right.
That's where the rubber meets the road.
Yep.
And for them to book shelters, they need a program which we currently don't have in place and we're thinking is going to be LEO.
Correct.
All the other stuff is just like maybe not, but ultimately we have to create a mechanism for people to get these shelters booked. And if it's not LEO, do we have any other backup plans at the moment?
I know of, other than an actual person hiring somebody to sit down and do it.
Trust me, I can't wait for the last thing on the agenda. This whole last 5 minutes has been more like, oh yeah, last thing on that agenda. but in general, we do need something. We got to get these shelters available for booking. That's where you're at, Carol, I believe.
That's where I'm at. That's what I'm saying.
All right. We do need to get something, and we do have another meeting between now and March 1st. I'm going to vote no.
Okay, Andrew.
Yes.
Aaron?
I'll vote yes.
Okay, Chaz?
No, because what the heck are we approving?
Okay, and myself, yes.
Into one company? That's ridiculous.
So the motion's carried. Now, did you Community Ed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. You guys go ahead and do that.
No, Carol, I don't need to meet with Community Ed. I appreciate their help. I don't need to meet with Community Ed. I need to meet with the company that's going to provide us the service, and I need to meet with the township who's going to pay for it. I don't need Community Ed. I need
to meet with Community Ed because they're the ones going to be doing the booking for us.
Right. This sounds like, it sounds like there's a lot of work to be done on behalf of the park board that has just been farmed out to the various aspects of the township over the years.
Agreed.
When probably the park board should have just had its own, it's like we're getting a little help from Community Ed. Like it sounds like Community Ed's doing legit work that should be on the plate of the park board. And there's mutually, supportive relationships to help that work get done. But like we're new people being like, hey, we want to get the work done. But it sounds like the whole thing's embedded with Community Ed. There's this whole $300 or $200 something a year that they're already paying, which is even making this possible to us, right? So like there's definitely all these embedded things that I think, this isn't, I think everybody's like, oh, they're disparaging community ed. No, I think we're all just trying to understand, like, who's getting the work done for the park board, because
Right.
it's like,
This isn't something, we have a contract, with community ed, dating back years. So there's a partnership there, and we're just going on this partnership. But, none of us want to do this. None of us want to sit down and be responsible, I don't believe, because we're park board commissioners. We are not we're not, what do I want to say? We're just not set up to do
We're not
this
park
ourselves.
secretaries.
What we should be thinking about is actually having a person, someone that is paid by the township and manages the parks. We advise, okay? But there should be somebody that's there, because we're only here for 4 years.
Right.
And then we go. And somebody else comes on the board, and they go through this whole thing again, like we are, trying to figure out what the last board did and what needs to be done next, and going on. And if we had some person who was available to carry on from board to board to board, and do the daily maintenance, I think that's what we really need to do. And we aren't going to be able to get that unless we get a millage passed. But anyway, that's my spiel on that. So, okay.
Well, it's on the agenda there, but yeah. Okay.
All right. So B was space for bicycling community.
So we had a meeting that was, precipitated from the Parmalee being a kind of a problem point at the skateboard park for, bicycling, et cetera, et cetera. But it was really just a broader conversation about bicycling in Bedford and, giving an opportunity for the large community that they think they are, which I do think they probably are. It did seem like there's a robust community in Bedford. They, of course, as you guys heard, have this whole, like, pump track thing, which, in our meeting, I was like, well, how much do they cost? And I was like, oh, well, a good one's $100,000, and it was like, okay, guys. But through the process, they mentioned that there's a free option, basically, which is building the ramps and the mechanisms and things with dirt, creating basically like a dirt venue. And they were like, oh, well, you always got to keep repairing the dirt things and, building them back up, and sometimes they're destroyed within a week. And I was like, well, that's perfect. We could try it out for the summer. If we as a park board can find a place where we can allow them to do this with dirt. It sounded like we had volunteers ready to do, the labor to help get the jumps built and the, I don't know what things they do when they ride their bicycles in these venues per se, but it sounded like we had volunteers that were ready to help do the dirt and then maintain the dirt, and the venue that we would allocate for them. And I was sort of like, hey, if this summer we could provide a space in the park for you guys, see how it goes through the summer, see if anybody actually uses it, then we'll at least have something to go off of, where next year it's like, hey, that dirt place was great, everybody loved it, let's consider supporting that with more resources and money. And they sounded like they would be, obviously happy to do it. And I think from our standpoint, if we can provide a space, basically, we have to ultimately be willing for that space to be torn up in a sense. Like if we're going to make it in a grass area, it ain't going to be grass anymore. It'll be dirt, and the bikers will be, turning it into a dirt area. We had talked tentatively about Indian Creek, one of the back corners in the grass there at Indian Creek that we already said was, not that great. But there's other areas we could maybe brainstorm. I think the ultimate thing, though, is that somewhere in the parks we provide a space, pump track, I believe is the official term, but it's more just sort of an area where they can build stuff. Yeah, I guess, and so being able to provide that to them is the main thing. Picking the space is the next thing. Definitely having it not be at Parmalee Park, probably anywhere but Parmalee Park, would be the thing to do, because then it's like, hey, everybody, you shouldn't be here with your bicycles. The park board allocated a space for people with bicycles. why are you here with your bicycles? You know? So, like, that's why Indian Creek or White Park or somewhere else, because it sounded like the kids on their bikes at Parmalee aren't really from that neighborhood. They're coming from across town through the, you know, the high school, the YMCA, the park, all the way to Parmalee, you know? So if we can provide it for them at Car Park or Indian Creek Park, that would be just as appealing, I believe. And it would be only bikes, you know, and the skateboarders couldn't use it because it'd be dirt, so it'd be only bikes. And I think we can get away with it for $0 or certainly less than $1,000. So that's where we're at. Yeah, I mean, what do you think?
Hey, Aaron, real quick, this is going to be silly, but what is a pump park? You've done some research. I'm an old man. What is a pump park?
I believe the pump must come from just like pumping of the pedals or, you know, pumping your leg. But it's just like a park, a track.
Okay.
The design or the look of like pump tracks is real similar to like dirt biking. There's ramps, there's berms, jump, it's that kind of a look. The like pump park material, the like one initially that we thought that was like the 100,000 plus, they build specific like ramps and like structuring for like top rubberized material then, and that's where all the cost is. Like Aaron's saying, you can initially start by building up dirt mounds and berms and certain things to actually have a lap and a course track.
Let's make no mistake, as the parks in a community of families, we have a responsibility to families and young people, I think, implicitly. And as much as I want to discuss the quality of the park and making it like cool, I really don't. You know, it's like, I mostly just, I think on our level, we need to create a space for the teenagers, especially, because it seems like this is a thing with teens, especially. I don't have teens per se, but I mean, like, a bunch of parents with teens were like, yeah, my teenager rides his bike around all day. Help me, you know, and clearly we do stand in a position where we can help. You know, and Parmalee's a thing. They don't like the kids at Parmalee. It's not like any parent really is like, oh, yeah, when my kid's at Parmalee, I'm excited about it, because they think they're hanging out at the skateboard park and whatever else, you know. So I think providing that space for the kids, the bike community to be, and see how that works is what's implicit on us at the moment. And if there's one jump or 10 jumps, we can like, I or somebody can work with them to like, hey, make your jumps better or make your jumps worse. And I don't think we should talk about the jumps or the quality of the jumps. I think whatever park we pick, let the lead. Yeah, like, yeah, make some jumps. We just need to carve out a space, you know, whether it's a football field or a soccer field or a baseball field size, so that it's like, hey, teenagers of Bedford, etc., you know, this is for you guys. Show us you appreciate it, and then we can review that, and then next year discuss if we sink resources into something like that. So that's, I think, where we're at on that. But I mean, dirt space somewhere, you know.
Go ahead, Chris.
I think if Indian Creek's a pretty ideal place. The only thing is we would need to get approval from the school board, I do believe, because we don't technically own the property. I don't see them being against it too much, other than safety aspects of it. I believe Griffin Kirsch is the liaison from their board to our board. So I'm not sure if that's who we should talk to or not. Todd, you're on the. Could I chime Todd in for this? Todd's on the school board. You want to know
the specific spot we're thinking about? Is if you know Indian Creek well, there's that walking trail. You know, there's the baseball diamonds and everything, and there's a walking trail that kind of goes back into the forest.
Yep.
So kind of like not cutting into the walking trail, but, you know, anybody who's walking on that wide loop of the walking trail would be like coming, you know, within however many feet of the bicycling area that we would designate. And then that grass patch there that has a couple of benches on either side of it would kind of be where we would do it. And the grass would go away. It would become a dirt space for, you know, and make a little fence around there. But if that's the school's property, I think it maybe is what you guys are talking about. So,
yeah.
Hey guys, I'm sorry. It's 7:45. We're 45 minutes into this meeting, and this isn't anything we're going to touch until spring. Can we kick this one down the road a little bit, please, and keep moving?
That's fine. We can review it. I'll type something up. How about that? I'll make a one page.
That's a perfect idea.
I'll make a one pager so it's easy to approve. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
Good.
Okay, Saturdays in the park. Somebody asked me to put this on, but I don't
pick
remember
that too.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Do you guys want to do that? You want to just start that in March? Start it in April? We had mentioned that I would write it up,
let's
and
do
I
it.
did.
I'm thinking with the way the weather is, yeah, we should push it off for another month or two.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it April,
Aaron,
or
I'm down. I'm down to start whenever, Aaron. Just set them up. Whoever shows up, shows up. Whoever doesn't, doesn't. So,
well,
yeah.
April sounds good.
Let's get it going.
You want to kick off doing them or talking about them?
You want to?
well, we don't really have a marketing mechanism. Like if we are going to promote something, I don't know how we even do that, right? So like, do we have a Facebook page, whatever?
Okay.
That's why I don't know. Maybe that's something to talk about first.
Aaron, I think it's an excellent idea. I love the parks. I love that idea. I think what we need to do is we need to push that down the road. We're going to be here for 4 hours if we keep trying to solve all the world's problems in one night. So,
trust me, I'm supposed to be at work in an hour.
Yeah, the things that can wait, let's let them wait. So can we push that back and have a further discussion on that? Aaron, maybe you can do a presentation on it in, let's say, 2 weeks.
Cool.
2 weeks or 4 weeks, whichever you want to do.
Whenever you guys want, we can do Saturdays in the park. Good.
Yep, I love it. Let's do a presentation in 4 weeks when we have some of this other stuff straightened out.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Partnership with the Green Initiative. Chris, you want to jump in on that?
Yeah, I do actually. So I've attended I attended their last meeting, attempted their first meeting, but as soon as I got to talking, I was cut off by internet connection. Needless to say, I talked to them their last meeting about our spaces in the township and in our parks, that we are cutting a lot of grass at that just doesn't make sense, and we own these lots and there's nothing we can do with them. Some of them, there's no selling them because they're non-buildable, they're non-usable. So I am trying to work with them, and I want to work with them on doing something with these lots to make them less maintenance. There's no such thing as maintenance free, but if we can get it to where we don't have to send a mower over there to cut every single week or every 2 weeks, with native grasses or something of that nature, I'd like to do that with them, and work with them on it. And I would also, I don't think we technically do. Not sure we have a liaison position to their board, but if I could be the liaison to the board, I would like that personally.
I make a motion to make Chris liaison to the Green Initiative.
Second.
I second.
We should incorporate that we're going to have a partnership with the Green Initiatives first, and then make Chris the liaison. So I need a motion for that.
All right. I make a motion that we create a partnership with Green Initiative and create a liaison position and nominate myself for that liaison position, all in one motion.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
There we go. Hey, that was the fastest one yet. All right, park signage. I know we had talked about some park signage. I think, Chris, I sent everybody a little bit of, or maybe I just sent you, I can't remember. I had ordered some signage for the state parks way back when, and so I sent you those two things we talked about. Go ahead.
Yep, I got those a little bit ago. I just saw those a little bit ago. I got a quote from Bedford graphic sign so far, and I was working up an online quote as well. I haven't got that completely finished. We got a lot of snow, so I've been working a lot these last few days. So that's I have nothing for right now. I don't have anything I really feel should be presented right now.
Chris, if that's something that you're working on, I just got a whole bunch because I go into the township and clean out the treasurer's box. I got 3 or 4 different catalogs that random suppliers mail to the Parks Department. And those catalogs are park benches and playground equipment and blah, 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 including a whole bunch of signs that I was amazed how cheap they are. Big Kydex signs, all custom cut and everything like that. And I was amazed how cheap they are. So if you're interested in signs, we should meet up on that.
Yeah, definitely. No, yeah, because so the signs we're talking about are for areas like Wheeler Park where there's no definitive property line, and it would just be a green sign with white lettering that says leaving park property. Doesn't necessarily have to say that. That's
okay. I thought you were looking at more decorative signs for the roadway or something like that. You're just looking at those signs.
Yeah, just to define the property lines on that particularly Wheeler, where it goes from, there's no defined line. Yep.
I also, through my business, we buy and purchase a lot of labels and signs and things like that. So I actually have some contacts in that industry as well.
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
Yeah, we can meet on that when you get back in town. Yeah, because we can meet over, and if you've got a pair of bolt cutters, I'll bring my ladder and we'll get that tree stand down too.
What tree stand?
Onstead. Is it already gone?
Oh,
All right, next thing. On to the next.
Okay, so let's revisit the next meeting. Chris, you get some prices and we'll bring it up at our next meeting. How's that?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Now we're into the seasonal wages, maintenance, budget requests. Chaz, you want to tell me what's going on with that, or?
Yeah, so here's what this is. We have $11,500 in our budget that we have not used yet this year for seasonal wages.
Okay.
Paul has requested, since the township provides all of our labor at this point, that we basically give him all that money. I've done a bunch of research. I've talked to a bunch of people, and it's kind of my original opinion is that he's right. We don't pay for any labor. Why should we have this money? Why do we need this money? However, after researching it a little further and thinking on the issue a little bit, I don't write my kids a check for $1,000 on January 1st for their allowance for the year. I make them earn it. And then I pay them every week when they complete their task. I think we should use this money in the same manner. I think I have no problem using it to pay the wages of the maintenance crews. However, I think we should have some sort of time slips or some sort of signed work orders or something. I'm all for them using the money. He's exactly right. But I don't think we should just blanket give this money away. Because the other thing that I was also cautioned about is that if anything were to ever happen to the maintenance crew, and we were to lose the support of the township on maintenance, we would have nothing budgeted to make that amends. So,
all right, Chance, my understanding was that it was just going to be moved from seasonal wages to the maintenance department, correct?
That's what Paul would like us to do. He does not have the authority to do that without our approval.
Right. But I'm saying if we then need maintenance for whatever, it would be paid out of that maintenance budget anyway. So we're not losing the money.
No.
That's budgeted in the maintenance budget. Go ahead.
No, sorry. That's not his intention.
Oh,
His intention is to take that money and absorb it into the township budget and use it to pay out of there, which I'm okay with him using that money. However, I think we need an accounting of where it goes. It stays in our budget so that we have it next year in case something happens to it.
All right, Todd, go ahead. You got your hand up there.
Yeah, just my 2 cents here. I'm with Chaz. Once you give something away, good luck getting it back. You guys should keep the money and then pay the maintenance from it. Do not give up the money.
And it needs to be either signed work orders or timesheets very explicitly showing where that money went. Because in talking to the finance director at the hall, the maintenance crew currently does not allocate or dedicate any of their time. They turn in a timesheet with a stamped time card. They could be out picking daisies or they could be out digging graves for 40 hours a week. All we know is that they were out there for 40 hours a week. We have no idea where that money was going, and I don't think that's right.
I agree, and that's why I like the work order system we have in place now that we've just started utilizing should help show that.
So do we want to make a motion and vote on it so they know that we're all of one mind here?
I think so. I make a motion that we deny the supervisor's request for this money, and we further discuss with him the allowing him to charge maintenance against it.
I will second that.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
This involves money.
Opposed?
I'm opposed. That's
okay.
Good.
All right.
I'm just curious on what grounds, Aaron.
more that like it's retrospective, like let them have it now and worry about like what we're gonna do in the future. Positive. I feel like we're like just making them dance through hoops because we have a level of distrust, which is probably not, unfounded in a way. I mean, I get government, trust me, and Mr. Distrust government. I'm more just, at this point, it's like, we've all been through it. It's kind of like dancing a dance, and I feel like Paul's a busy guy. I don't want to add more to Paul's busy plate, but at the same time, I get where you're coming from. I mean, it's okay. It's
yeah, it truly doesn't add anything to his plate. It's just a matter of accountability. Maintenance
I shouldn't say Paul.
Just tell us. Right. Maintenance needs to tell us where they're spending their time.
I guess I feel like maybe the best way to say is like I feel it's like the park board wagging. It's like the tail wagging the dog. It's like the park board.
Unfortunately, it is. Yeah.
I think
Unfortunately, it is.
It's the park board trying to like force Township to do its thing with the little accountability juice that we have. But I appreciate that. I certainly appreciate it. I guess just feel.
All right, Todd, you have something to say here?
Yeah, guys, just to put it into perspective for you, the ordinance department's a perfect example. They took their $25,000. Damon wanted it back, and we didn't approve it. Like I said, once you give it up, good luck getting it back.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the spring newsletter. We talked about that a little bit. I mentioned that I did the last one winter. The previous board took turns doing that. Chris, I think you said you'd be happy to jump in and do the spring one. Is that correct?
With input, Chaz would like to put some input in. If anybody wants to,
I'd love to help you with it.
More than happy. Yeah, we can collaborate on that.
I think when we do these, I think it should be 2 people.
Okay.
Who's the spring newsletter through? Is this something the township puts out? Or is this through one of the local papers?
Yes, it's that blue insert that they usually put in the local paper or whatever it is that comes around, Bedford Press, or the other one, the Bedford whatever. And it's got all, everybody from the township, every different entity from the township puts a little blurb in there about it. And so we usually have something about the parks in there as to what happened or what we intend to do this year, something like that. Just kind of give a little summary of what's happening with the parks. And there, I don't know, you'll have to check. I don't remember the date. I know they wanted it in at February 23rd. It's like 3 weeks. We've got like 3 weeks to get it in so that it has time to get into the paper. So check your email for the exact date. I want to say the 23rd, but I'd have to look up my email for sure, but it's in your email. And it was emailed from Nancy Ginn, not Angie, but Nancy Ginn.
All right.
All right, so we've moved on from that. Let's go to the employee internship, which is H.
So I'm the one who, I guess, proposed that, or ultimately, although it's been kicked around. I don't know. I think we've touched on it already a little earlier. Just it seems there's a lot of work to be done, and as much as all of us are zealous to do it, it also, provides organizational challenges, and it seems we're mooching off of other aspects of the township, for lack of a better term. Mooching, from others we're asking them to kind of help the parks get the work done that the parks need done. And so I don't know if internships are maybe the best way to do that. Like, I know I've asked a question or said a few things, and I guess there's been public commentary here, there, and everywhere about, the park guys are going to do something to community ed. And it has nothing to do with me wanting to do anything to community ed other than just support all of what we're doing together and questioning hey, if we're putting $30,000 a year into community ed for human resources to, do, bookings and things, how can we support that? Not even take away from that, right? Maybe we throw in another 10,000 and hire someone that can work in conjunction with community ed. I don't know exactly what the answers are. I just know that we continue to have these things that it seems like if we had a staff member, we could just be like, hey, tell Susie or tell Johnny to, work on that, and we could focus on the staff member and letting them be a coalescing point for ourselves and our work. And then we don't have to worry about open meetings and all the other things, right? And that staff member can be the public person to do the jobs. It seemed like, I don't know, I mentioned this once or twice in passing in the meetings, and it seemed like it was a sensitive topic. So here it is to be publicly sensitive. And I don't know that we need to make decisions on it other than just exploring what we can do, you know, I mean, I think we could do a lot of things in the parks, and if we had a staff member or two or interns or two, we could do a lot with them. But, you know, it is late. Maybe me and someone else, or maybe two other people and not me, explore this option. And I don't know. I mean, it's all you know, just a thought. There it is. I'm done. So.
All right. Well, I think we should explore it. You know, if Aaron, if you want to work with me on that, maybe we can get something together and revisit it at our next meeting.
Sure. Or, I mean, if you guys, I mean, I'm the one who brought it to the table. If others want to
No, I
work
think
on
it's a
it
good
without,
idea, Aaron.
I mean, I'll work with Carol, or, I mean, Chaz,
Yeah.
you work with Carol, or.
Aaron, I like your thoughts. I think you should run with it. No, just you're right on point. I mean, it needs to be, I mean, look into all aspects. The difficulty is going to be to hire the best quality person that we can for the amount of money that we would have available. But I think you're online where if we get somebody that is an intern or someone that is going through college and currently looking for someone that I don't anticipate keeping employed for 10 years, but if we can hire someone and have them for a year to run the programs and hold some summer type camp type of things, and yep, I'm on board.
I mean, $100 a week. I'm thinking like $100 a week is $5,000 a year, you know, and a list of, you know, more. I mean,
you honestly, Aaron, you won't get these kids off their couch for that much money.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know.
Even.
We'll see. I guess, like, Carol, I'll work with you. We'll work on, you know, putting a few proposals together.
All right.
I wasn't trying to break the bank.
I think a big thing with it's going to be not just hiring somebody, but who is this person going to work under, or who are they going to be reporting to, and where are they going to work, and who's going to teach them. I mean, it's an internship.
Right.
An internship,
sure.
You're learning how to do it.
Yeah.
So I think this is something
Nancy
maybe
here. I think
you might want
Nancy
to talk with.
Okay.
I mean, you could even speak with even the clerk's office. I mean, maybe they have a spot. You know, they can have somebody sitting there. They're also a really good source of information. I mean, they are the source of information for this township.
It is a big building.
Aaron, it's a good idea.
Yeah,
You and Carol should work on that. Let's keep moving.
All right, sounds good. Nancy, I thought she was blinking here like she had something to say. Nancy, do you have anything to add?
No.
No. Okay. All right. Moving on. What do we got? Anstead Preserve. We've got. Okay. I was working on a site plan, and I think I mentioned this last time. One of the gals was willing to do a site plan for us for $5,000. I've got to get a couple other estimates on that before we go any further. But keep in mind.
Site plan for what, Carol?
If we're going to, for the dog park at Anstead, and if we're going to do a site plan, this is where maybe we could incorporate a bump park or a sledding hill, or, you know, that's the only piece of property we've really got that we could use something for. Now, obviously we can't do the bump park there this year because it's being farmed yet, but a site plan is for, here's your site, here's where we're going to put the dog park.
I know what a site plan is. I'm not sold that the dog park goes there.
Okay. Well, that's what we got the site plan for, to see if that works for us. But anyway, I can't do it for $5,000. We've got to get a couple other estimates. So I'm just bringing it up to you now. We can discuss it more later, but that's what's happening with Anstead. Nothing else other than getting the spraying done in the spring. Cars Grove.
Only update I have, you already brought it up and covered it. I'm getting a work order put in for that thermostat change. I did see in that email. Also in that email was the specific for the tire to be fixed on the one swing. We put it in the maintenance list. They don't do that. He included the number for the company that actually does do the repair work to that. So I'll give them a call to get an estimate for that. And then I'm waiting on one more of the three estimates for the pavilion repair work. From the rough numbers looking so far, we're sitting somewhere between 15 to 19,000. It looks like, and that's going at replacing all 18 of the posts. 12 are 100% for sure needing replaced. The other 6 aren't far behind, so that's kind of where I'm getting numbers on each side of it. But once I get all 3 in, I'll get them sent to everybody, and hopefully should have them all in then by the next meeting, so we can review them, look at them, discuss, and go from there.
Okay. All right. Parmalee.
Andrew, one thought on that. Ask him how much a tear down and build back would be.
Way more.
Way more than 19? Okay, fair enough.
This is what I'm getting bid, and what is included in the estimate is the full post replacement, which right now materials are a huge portion of that cost. They're roughly $150 to $175 a post just to get one of those treated 16-foot 8x8 posts.
Do they need to be 8x8s?
They do.
That's what they are right now, right? 8x.
Yep, that's what I got from Dennis. Is it's got to be like kind exact
Hey,
per Cody.
Hey, Andrew.
Yes.
Andrew, just for fun, and I don't know if they would have anything like this or if it would work. Why don't you reach out to Jacob Supply? They're on Lewis Avenue.
Yep,
and see
I know
if,
where they're at.
See if they would be willing. I mean, they're a kind of lumber building supply house right there down the street. See if they would have any willingness to donate materials or discount materials, or see if they want to help us out with that.
Okay.
We'll put their name on it, but I mean, why not? They're 2 miles down the road.
Okay.
Another thing with that, Andrew, is there's a program through the judges where they get people who have need to do community service. And so it's not just anybody, but, you know, they got people that need to do community service who are carpenters or, you know, work outside in construction. And if we get the materials, we can possibly get some of them to come and put that together for you. So there wouldn't be any cost other than the material. I've got to look into that because I'm not sure that program is still running with COVID. We had it all set up last year. They were going to do the painting over of the fence at Indian Creek. And then because of COVID, that whole thing fell through. So I've got to call in to the person who is in charge of that. He has not called me back yet. But
Who is it,
I
Carol?
will get back with you as soon as I hear on that.
Who is it, Carol?
It's a program, and right now I can't think of the acronym. JAWS. It's called JAWS. JAWS, JAWS. Mm-hmm. And the person in charge of that is a justice in Monroe County. It's out throughout the county, and he's in charge of putting people out there that need to do community service. And so he gets somebody who knows what they're doing. It's not just anybody that needs to do community service, but somebody that's in construction or somebody that's a painter or whatever you need. So that's something I'll explore. I'll get back with that person, make sure it's still going this year. And then that might help out with some of these projects.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
I
Let's
was
move
over
to
to,
Samarica.
Well,
Go ahead, Andrew.
What's all included in the bids that I'm getting, and initially, like I said, I'm just getting bids in. This is where I started with it. It's for all the post replacement. They're digging out the concrete to get those posts out, relaying the concrete. It's getting all the rotten fascia board replaced, and then all the gable ends and the fascia boards wrapped, so they are weather protected, and then getting gutter runs put on that pavilion because that's where all the water is hitting on those pads and getting right into the posts. With the new posts, it includes on a picture frame box out by like a 2x8 treated, so water isn't running in under them and rotting them out like they currently are, because that's the problem that's occurring. So
how much of the concrete are they replacing? Sorry, how much?
12 are rotted out and need replaced.
Right. How much of the concrete? You said they're cutting out the concrete.
You're gonna
are they just doing?
It's enough to be able to get in there, get the post out, get a new one.
Okay,
set.
they're not doing complete concrete replacement.
No, just probably a good 1.5 feet around.
Okay.
Outside of the post,
and
but I mean that's all included in part of.
Cool. And then they're going to seal it up, concrete to concrete, so no water can get down in there, caulk it or whatever. Okay, cool.
Correct.
Then that's not bad pricing.
No, that's why it's a big number, but that the materials are expensive right now, and that's what I'm getting in, and they're all relatively similar, so they're all in the same kind of range to where okay.
All right, let's move on to Samaria.
Did we do Indian Creek? Parmalee is,
Oh, did I miss Indian Creek? Gosh, I'm just going right along. Go ahead, Indian Creek.
Okay, yeah. Did we?
Indian Creek, real quick. Just two things. I'm looking at getting the baseball diamonds adopted. Bedford Select has adopted 3 of them and is committed to rounding them out in the spring and leveling them and making them nice. which I'm really excited about. I was hoping to talk to the guy from 3B tonight about that, but honestly, time-wise, it's probably best he didn't call in. The only other thing, 3B in White Park, that affects Parmalee and Carr more than anything right now, the Mulch King shut down their wonderful program that they were doing. They got denied some zoning variances that they were asking for from the township, and so they took their ball and went home. They said that they will no longer accept any mulch or waste from the township, and thank you very much. They said they wish that they could work it out, but if we're not going to be nice to them, they're not going to be nice to us. And I've gone into the township and talked to Al and Paul, and I've heard all the back and forth stories on it and who's good and bad and everything. And I'm currently in the talks with 3 other places trying to find somewhere to get rid of our garbage.
Not good.
The nice, clean, easy that was working out.
It was working great. Car looks far better.
Yep. So that's all I had.
All right. Now to some area.
Nothing much going on there. I mean, it's pretty active. People are walking through the woods. People are playing on the playground. The maintenance plowed the snow right in front of the gates, but I called and it was supposed to be taken care of. So hopefully get that. They should have that taken care of. That was today, so I haven't made it back over there yet. But other than that, everything's pretty good over there. Yeah, it looks nice.
Okay. And Wheeler's pretty good. I walked it the other day. We do have that, I don't know what you want to call it. It looks like a lodge out of all kinds of wood back there that we probably should deal with at some point. I mean, it is kind of cool, but liability-wise, I think we need to do something with that. I don't think we can leave it there. The other thing I forgot to mention, Ansted, I had a call from a person who wanted to know why the gate was locked at Ansted. And I said, well, we're locking all the gates right now. We don't want people driving there. We don't want snowmobiles. We don't want, anything going through the parks there. And that's why that gate was locked. She also said there's a low spot when you first walk in from the parking lot into the park. I didn't notice it. I walked the dog there. I didn't notice it as a slushy spot or anything. I mean, you've got gravel there. It gets wet. It's going to be a little mushy. But I noticed a spot where you walk the trail and the park and the trail veers off the first Y you come to. That's a really slushy spot. That needs built up. So when we get around to ordering some stone, that's what we need to put some stone over there for sure. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, that's that spot I was talking about. I think it might have been our first meeting, maybe our second meeting. I mean, might have talked out of both meetings. That's that same spot I was talking about.
Yeah,
we may have been there when it was frozen. Is it? All right.
Yeah, we did that when they pulled the mulch out. I was there last week or 2 weeks ago, and that's done and gone.
Okay.
All right. Awesome.
All right. Comments from the public. George, go ahead and let them in. I think that's Connie. Go ahead, Connie. Okay.
All right. Awesome.
All right. Comments from the public.
I think you got to turn your show down.
I think that's Connie.
Or whatever we call it. Turn your broadcast down, or maybe they don't want to hear. Try someone else, George. Anybody else?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, just a minute. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I have 2 concerns about that. That pump track sounds like a great idea, but how are you going to keep the ATVs and the motorcycles off of that? We can't even keep the bikes off Parmalee. So that's a big issue if you do that. And also, I agree with Todd. Keep your money once you give it up. You can do a budget adjustment within your budget, but don't give it up. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thanks, Connie.
Thank you.
Aaron, can you please make sure that it goes in the minutes that someone agreed with Todd?
You can do a budget adjustment within your budget, but
I got an open mic here, people.
So that's all I
Go ahead.
have to say. Thank you.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah,
I'm hearing
I'm
an
ready.
awful lot of other backslash. Gail
Hold-
Kane,
could-
1056
Hold on,
West
could you
Temperance.
please turn your TV down? All right.
My TV's off.
All right, I was hearing somebody's for a second there. It was really loud.
Yeah, there was
I
like
can hear
a
you.
ton of
It's off.
information coming across. Okay, ready?
Go ahead.
Okay, this is Gail Kane, 1056 West Temperance. I've been listening to this. I have things I could say, but I'll skip that. In the meantime, my concerns were the skate park. History. The people that wanted it had promised to take care of it. And, of course, as the kids come and go, so did their responsibility, and that's when it felt awry. Mostly some people from across the state line. The same thing with Indian Creek. You're going to put that up back there. We had the remote control park, if you remember, and we had issues with people. They took down their pool and whatever else, and that wasn't taken care of, and it became a problem. That's also where the cross-country kids come through. So when you're talking to school properties, you have to remember the sport teams use those. And I certainly hope that with combining with the Green Committee, you're not going to be filling the parks full of rocks and stones and stuff to cut back on mowing. It's just not conducive, I don't feel, in a park. If you're going to do that, then build a skate park with the concrete so the bikes can use it, a day for the bikes, a day for the skaters, go from there. As far as your budget and the money, you made a very wise choice, very, very wise choice. You guys had a millage. The township convinced you at one time to put a renewal with an addition. And when you put it together, it got voted down. You should have never lost your millage. So you've got to work on that millage. But if you move that money and you give it to the township supervisor to use, it will not be handled properly. So you need to have the authority. You're elected officials. You need to stand your ground, okay? You're speaking for the people, the public that owns those parks. And the township board is who you report to, not just the supervisor, okay? Mulch King, I certainly
George,
hope
you've got
that
the
they're
time,
not
right?
going to take care of the stuff that you guys
That's our
check with
job.
Stevens. And so the other thing is that to pay, if the township has paid him, then I'm assuming he won't ask for money this round. Let's see here.
Gail?
Dog park instead. I don't think that's a cool spot either.
That's 2 minutes.
Gail, it's
I
Gail.
thought I had five.
Gail.
Okay,
No,
I thought I got
only
5.
2 minutes
Okay,
for
thank
this.
you. Thank you for your
All right,
input.
bye.
So George clicks and we time. Basically, I'll keep time. Good. Or something. Hello.
Hello.
There.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, go ahead.
Caller.
Hi, I'm calling on the space for the bicycle community where you are going to let these volunteers come through the gates and build.
Can you state your name, please?
Oh, Lamar Frederick, 3254 Deer. The volunteers are going to come in here and do all kinds of hoop-de-doos and I don't know what all. I would counsel you to get a hold of the township's insurance company because you're going to have liability insurance and you will be covered. But at least, number one, they'll know what you're doing. You have volunteers who are going to come in and build this stuff, and you don't know if it's going to be safe, unsafe, or otherwise. And I'm not suggesting they build anything unsafe because it's their people. But further, the insurance company then can design and put together the signs that you need to keep you from being responsible for what goes on. Now, when I say that, I can tell you that the very first day that the playscape was open at Cars Grove, a kid fell off of one of the playscapes and broke his arm. The next day, the father calls up and says, "Who's going to pay for the broken arm?" And the response was, "You're on your own." Because number one, did you see the sign coming in? He said, well, I didn't see any sign because my mother is the one who took her grandson over there. So you have to have some signs that say such things as you're on your own. We have no liability for what you do. And design the signs so that if there's any problems, they designed the sign, you didn't. So that's an issue that you need to do. And I think it's important that you do that for all of your parks. Have the insurance company come in, as they did at one time. They used to come in and look at your all of the parks and say, well, we see this, we see that, we see something else, which will give you sort of like what is called the ISO, Insurance Service Organization review. And that way, with your insurance company, the township's insurance company, the liability insurance company, you can see if there's any issues that they see that need to be rectified. And it's a free service. So thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Sir.
Those are some great ideas.
That was it? Okay. All right. So, commissioners' comments. Chris.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I got one for Gail. The green issues, there's no plan to just fill areas with stone and rock. That's not the goal. The goal is to use native. The goal would be more in lines of using native plants to create areas that don't need mowed, such as Indian grasses and things of that nature. And other than that, I think something I want to do during this is if we could add to next meeting's agenda, Carol, to discuss a resolution to move money from capital outlay to park maintenance so we can focus more in on fixing what we have before we start adding more new, because the parks aren't going anywhere. There'll be time to add new, but we will never trying to add more stuff to parks that need major repairs, such as our skate park. Some of the playgrounds need a lot of repairs.
We can use that money for repairs.
Can we? We can use it on.
Yes.
I talked with Bob Miller. And Bob said that we would have to vote a resolution in. We would have to make a motion for resolution, vote on it at our meeting, and then work with Bob to write up a resolution to present to the main board to move anything from one spot.
I talked to Bob about it. There's a couple stipulations, but it shouldn't be any big deal.
Shouldn't be a big deal. All right, good.
Nope.
All right.
Nope. And I do think. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. No, you're good.
Chaz, any dad? Go ahead.
I know we kicked some stuff down the road tonight, and I think we made some good progress. However, we did not talk about anything about budget and what we want to spend. I got an updated RER from Bob earlier this week, and we really need to start getting our numbers in and allocating. Aaron, I think you got to get prices to fix the skate park. Aaron, you're working on your gazebo. I'm getting some prices for the backstops throughout the township and things like that. And Carol, you've got your burnings and things like that. But at one of these meetings, we need to bring those numbers to bear and start laying out where we want to spend this money and start getting it lined up.
Okay.
Do we need a separate cow or something for that?
That's going to come up next. Andrew?
Okay.
I'm good. Everything's covered.
Okay. Anything else, Aaron?
I think I got some homework. Chris, I got to talk to you about baseball. Carol, I'm going to talk to you about staffing internships, and I got to run a one-pager for bikes.
Okay.
That's my homework. Anybody else, let me know. But yep. Okay.
All right. Yeah, I don't have anything else that I haven't already said at the moment, so we're good there. But yeah, we've got to decide our next park commission meeting, which is already set. But we should also have a cow meeting so we can talk about the budget.
Do you need to check with Todd and make sure that he's all set?
I didn't. Thank you. Todd, do you have anything
No,
to
I'm
add?
good, guys. I'm good.
Okay. All right. So, George, is it possible for us to meet next Monday
For a cow meeting?
for a cow meeting?
That's President's Day, which I don't know if that's...
Oh, you're right.
I guess we probably, you know.
That's probably going to kick us over then.
What's that matter?
I mean, I don't know that I could be even ready for Monday.
The Cal meeting is, we need to discuss the budget. We don't make any resolutions. We don't make anything, but we talk about our budget, and because it's an open meeting, it should be probably recorded at least.
I'd say March 1st, if anything, on that, right? Or is it too late?
Well, I don't know. Todd, can you chime in? When do we need to have our budget in to the township? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Well,
I'm thinking it's got to be like early March.
We're talking about two different things.
Okay, so we can't do it March 1st.
We're talking.
That's all right.
We're talking about two different things. We have money that we need to get spent this year yet.
Right.
We need to deal with that, and then we have to get the budget ready for June 30th.
Right. So at our next meeting, I can put in the minutes, discuss the budget for this year. You know,
let's do that.
We can have our numbers together, and we can do that. But we still need to schedule a Cal meeting at some point. So George, is there another Monday other than next Monday that we could do?
Honey, I can't.
Budget meeting. Yes, I think you can. I think we can just.
we can arrange a meeting through email. We have time for that.
Yep.
You're fine, George.
Sure. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, then we will adjourn. I need a
motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Thanks, George.